ceremony for my sister.
Her family says she died a hero. A woman tried to save her children from a burning home. Today, the family said goodbye.
What we've learned about a crash in Madison County that police say killed one person and injured another this afternoon.
It's a huge week in Lexington. Visitors are now arriving for the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. So how do city leaders and others think this will impact our economy?
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. She died while trying to rescue 3 of her children from their burning home. Today, family and friends said goodbye to a Marine veteran.
Lori Doppelhauer was buried this afternoon at Camp Nelson Cemetery in Jessamine County. She and 3 of her children and a neighbor all died in that fire last week in Maysville. Our Sam Smith talked to Doppelhauer's family today. It's our top story at 6.
With full honors, Lori Doppelhauer was laid to rest along with her young children.
This is the utmost honor, respect, and dignity that anyone can receive.
They died last week after a fire in their Maysville home. Since then, her family has been flooded with support. They say it was appreciated.
All the prayers that we've received, all the condolences, people we don't know, it's been great.
Today, Honor Guard volunteers led the caskets to their grave sites, with family following behind.
The ceremony was absolutely beautiful. I couldn't have asked for a better ceremony for my sister.
The bodies were escorted from a funeral home in Pulaski County to here at Camp Nelson in Jessamine County.
There were people lined up on the sidewalks waving. They had signs, they had flags. The fire departments, they had their trucks out. They were blocking the intersections along with the police departments, the sheriff's departments. They had flags lowered, half-staff. We cried the entire way there just out of honor that people thought of my sister like that.
At the end of the ceremony, the American flag was taken off of Doppelhauer's casket and it was presented to her family.
It was beautiful and it was a wonderful representation of Lori. She would have loved it.
In Jessamine County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
One of Lori Doppelhauer's children who died in that fire, 10-year-old Christopher Kearney, was buried with his father's family in South Carolina.
Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a crash that killed one person and badly injured another on a Madison County road. Police say a truck ran off the road and hit a utility pole on Meadowbrook Road east of Richmond this afternoon. Emergency crews were on the scene for hours. Victor Puente is tracking the investigation tonight.
First responders were at this crash shortly after it had happened, but it took some time to get to the 2 people inside that vehicle because of what had been hit. State police say the truck went off of Meadowbrook Road around 1 this afternoon. A truck hit a utility pole, snapping it. Witnesses say the power lines began to spark and a small fire started near the top. They could hear a woman screaming, but couldn't get to her.
We were talking to her. That's about all we could do. We couldn't see her or whoever else was with her.
The Madison County coroner pronounced a man dead at the scene. The woman in the truck was airlifted once the power to those lines was cut.
Obviously caused some risk to first responders, and that's what took so long to get the patient out.
State police say her injuries were serious. They don't know what led to the crash, but believe the driver lost control once the truck went off the edge of the road, which has no shoulder. The people who pulled up on the crash say while they heard the woman crying for help, they never heard that man make any sounds.
You definitely felt helpless. We couldn't really do anything for her as far as get her out. I mean, obviously that's, the paramedics and the firefighters.
State police say they still aren't sure who was driving that truck. That's part of the investigation. They don't believe those 2 people were from Madison County. In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
So far, the names of the people involved in that crash have not been released.
New tonight, a Pulaski County man faces many charges after police say he led a constable on a high-speed chase with 2 children in his car. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office arrested 35-year-old Brett Crozier over the weekend. Police say that while investigating a shooting in Shopville, the victim gave a description of the car the suspect was driving. They say a constable spotted that car nearby with Crozier inside. Police say the constable chased him at speeds up to 120 miles an hour before Crozier lost control of his car on Pump House Road. The 2 children inside the car were not injured. Police say Crozier is a suspect in the shooting.
It looks like the next few days will be wet as rain and wind moves into the bluegrass. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at your forecast. Sounds just downright messy, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly next 48 hours across most of central and eastern, actually all of central and eastern Kentucky. How about that? Across the region now, starting to pick up on some rain across southern Kentucky. Northern edge of this is running into some drier air that is in place. Slightly drier air, so that is being eaten alive right now on Defender. Any drops making it to the ground, mainly in the form of just a few sprinkles here or there. Southern Kentucky starting to see a little more in the way of some darker greens showing up. The overall trend, again, coming from south to north, with the heavier rains setting up shop across Tennessee, down into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia with low pressure. That is across parts of the Mississippi Delta area. That is what is left of once powerful, historic Hurricane Patricia back in the Pacific a few days ago. That's right, what's left of a Pacific hurricane will impact the weather here across central and eastern Kentucky. It's dry out there now, 57 degrees. Winds are coming at us from the northeast at 7 miles per hour, but the rain will increase as we go through tonight into early tomorrow morning. Look at your future radar picture showing the widespread rain when you're up and at 'em tomorrow morning. Heavy rain, gusty wind, eventually some thunderstorms moving in. And oh, by the way, I'm tracking a potential similar system as we gear up for our big holiday/Breeders' Cup weekend. It's all about the timing on that one. We'll time it all out with the 7-day forecast in less than 10 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. The wait is almost over. The Breeders' Cup is this weekend at Keeneland. And in a few minutes, we will find out the post positions for the Breeders' Cup Classic featuring Triple Crown winner American Pharoah. Brian Milam joins us now live from Keeneland with a preview. Brian?
An historic week at Keeneland starts today, and the post position draw will be conducted by John Calipari in just a couple of minutes. No doubt, with the Breeders' Cup Classic here, a big chunk of the focus will be on the Triple Crown winner, American Pharoah. Now, with the Breeders' Cup Classic, it began in 1984, so this will mark the first time a Triple Crown winner will grace this course in this race. Since the Breeders' Cup Classic is the premier thoroughbred horse race of the year, only the best of the best will be here, and all will look to beat American Pharoah.
Our classic is looking pretty healthy right now. I think we probably will have between 10 and 12 runners, so you know it's exciting, and it's a great opportunity for fans to see the Super Bowl of horse racing, to have all the best horses in the world in one place. It's a real opportunity. It's like going to the All-Star game or something of baseball.
So here is a look at the 10-horse field that will run in the Classic. Post positions will be drawn at 6:20. John Calipari will do the honors. And I guess it's only fitting John Calipari says UK is everyone's Super Bowl. And why not the Super Bowl of thoroughbred racing here in Keeneland? John Calipari will do the honors shortly. We'll have much more coming up in sports. Live from Keeneland, I'm Brian Milam, WKYT.
Brian, we'll see you then. Thank you. We'll be live at Keeneland throughout the week. Join Dave Baker and Jennifer Palumbo for breakfast at the Breeders' Cup from 7 to 10 tomorrow and Wednesday mornings on the CW Lexington.
Sold out hotels and restaurants booked solid for dinner. That's part of the Breeders' Cup impact on Lexington this week. Tonight, a look at what the 2 days of racing means to the Lexington area in terms of dollars and cents, and how that has an impact on the people who live here. Chef Mark Richardson is planning for one of the biggest weeks in Dudley's restaurant history.
This is on the menu for Breeders' Cup. And the beef we're featuring for the Breeders' Cup is a really nice prime filet from Creekstone that actually got its originations here in Kentucky.
Lexington restaurant owners like Debbie Long started planning a year ago when news came about Breeders' Cup.
Thrilled. Couldn't be happier. Actually called a couple of restaurants in Louisville to see how they handled Derby, just to kind of get a feel for what we needed to do.
Reservations for the week started arriving months ago.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are good. I mean, we still have availability on those nights. Wednesday is almost full. I mean, we're getting close to it. Thursday night is booked, Friday night booked, Saturday night booked.
Debbie Long is one of a dozen or so restaurant owners in Lexington who Bob Elliston met with last April. The executive with Breeders' Cup wanted to alert them to what was coming.
I just found out today that of those 12 or 14 that we had talked to, nobody's got any availability on Thursday night, Friday night, or Saturday night of Breeders' Cup week.
And not just restaurants are booked full. Few of the 8,000 hotel rooms in Lexington remain. Elliston says Breeders' Cup by itself booked 4,100 room nights just for VIPs and people from the horse industry. 200 horses, many from outside Kentucky, are taking part in Breeders' Cup. He says what makes this year's event different from past Breeders' Cups in other cities, the week-long list of festivities before the racing even begins.
They're having programming all week long, so we fully expect, and the reason why we're expecting 65 million this year is people are coming earlier. They're doing horse farm tours, they're doing distillery tours.
That's right. Breeders' Cup estimates it will mean $65 million to the Lexington area.
From hotel rooms to restaurants to shopping to travel, all that, ticket sales, impact to the purses. We estimate that we'll set a record here.
The Breeders' Cup also brings with it the national spotlight from the media.
Well, I think one of the great legacies of hosting an event like this for us is the press that we get. I know that we are expecting a very large number of credentialed media to be in, and so that's very exciting for us to know that Lexington, Kentucky and that byline is going to be in so many outlets across the country and really throughout the world.
What happens in Lexington this week could determine if Breeders' Cup returns in the future. The next 2 years are already booked in California, but after that, who knows?
When people that don't know anything about the Breeders' Cup or racing, I always say the Breeders' Cup is like the Super Bowl for the horse racing industry. So for us, we feel like it is.
Now, I'll add to the Breeders' Cup 2 other major events in Lexington this weekend. The UK versus Tennessee football game, of course, at Commonwealth Stadium Saturday night, and the National Horse Show at the Kentucky Horse Park. That's a 5-day hunter jumper event. And oh yeah, Halloween is Saturday night. You've heard that many times. It all makes for a very busy and exciting few days. It is considered a big step forward in a plan to link downtown Lexington with some of the city's neighborhoods and parks.
Today, state leaders gave Lexington Mayor Jim Gray a check for more than $3 million for Town Branch Commons. It will be a greenway trail down Midland Avenue from Thoroughbred Park to the Isaac Murphy Memorial Art Garden. The city hopes it will bring more runners, walkers, and cyclists downtown.
Town Branch Commons is a big idea, but it's a simple one. And it's simply this. We're going to bring a ribbon of the bluegrass through the heart of Lexington in the form of trails, parks, and water.
Town Branch Commons is part of the larger urban trail project. Eventually, Town Branch Trail will be connected to the Legacy Trail.